everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. I guess I'm gonna have to change my intro just a teeny bit because today is not Wednesday. It's not the best day of the week. Actually, today is Friday. As most of you guys know, I am now doing my reviews later on in the week because now I have a full-time job. So that means I won't get out of work until like 5 or 6, and I won't be able to get the reviews in on time, and I'd rather have that time to kind of read my comics throughout the week. Really kind of depends on how things work, but just to be safe, I'm going to do my reviews probably either on Friday or Saturday. Most likely on Saturday because Friday I still have to work late, whereas Saturday I have the day off, so I can just pop it up, do it in the morning, and there we go. Uh, you guys can let me know what works for you guys. If this is cool with you, if I just do it on Saturday, because it makes things so much easier for me. As for anything else, like a figure review or my Andrew Cutter picks of the week, I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to place them. Probably do them wherever I want, but the Andrew Cutter picks of the weeks, I'm probably going to move to Sundays. We'll see how it works out. Okay, this is going to be a very trial and error time for me because, like I said, I get the full-time job, and you know, I have a lot of priorities that I have to deal with after work, so we'll see how things work around my schedule. So just expect reviews to be on probably Saturday from now on, the Andrew Carter Picks of the Weeks on Sundays, and then everything else when it happens. Okay, you don't know. I might do a figure review on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see. But we'll talk more about that in my Andrew Carter Pick of the Week video. Right now, we want to talk a little bit of comic books. And that means we're going to be talking about my comic pull list for the week. Now, week one is usually the smallest week of the month. And I thought Phantom Stranger came out this week, although I did not pick it up. I thought I pulled it. So if it's not here, that means it didn't come out. If I'm wrong, sorry, sue me. So, anyways, might as well start where we always start with a little bit of Batman in our day with Detective Comics. So, we have John Layman coming on Detective Comics, and I could be wrong, but I believe he is the writer that does Chew. If I am wrong, please correct me. I don't read Chew. I've heard good things about it, but anyways. So we get the main story and then the backup story. The main story focuses on the Penguin, and the Penguin wants to basically ruin Bruce Wayne's life because in the Penguin's eyes, despite how much power he has, despite all the money he has, in the end, he's always going to be remembered as a dirty crime lord or a dirty individual. He will never have the clean slate that Bruce Wayne has. People will never like him, which is an interesting kind of perception that the Penguin has because he has everything he wants except for being liked. This is kind of a concept that always goes back with Penguin is acceptance. The fact that he always strives for acceptance, his family name, he always strives for acceptance in that. They even did that in the cartoon show with the Batman, or with the movie with Batman Returns. So it's an interesting perception that Penguin has. So basically, he wants to kill Bruce Wayne, but he finds out that killing Bruce Wayne is too good for him. Instead, he would rather ruin his life. And he finds a way that could quite possibly ruin Bruce Wayne's life. The backup in this story is two criminals, one new to Gotham, one that's been in Gotham, and basically the one that's been in Gotham tells the new criminal, this is how things work with the Batman. You're going to encounter him. This is how you survive dealing with him. You don't want to cause too much noise because you don't want to attract him, stuff like that. On to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Well, I always like the Penguin. What I like about it in the New 52 is the Penguin has been used quite a lot, from Detective Comics to Birds of Prey to Batwing and everything in between. Penguin's becoming a more prevalent character in the Batman universe, and I really like how they kind of smoothed out his history and they made him just a plain, flat, illegitimate, legitimate businessman slash crime lord working with that kind of status. And you know what I really like about Penguin is that he's not a Batman villain. Rather, he's a villain for Bruce Wayne. I always find the villains for Bruce Wayne very interesting, like Hush and Penguin, and because they're characters that focus on what Bruce Wayne represents and exactly how they contrast Bruce Wayne. Penguin is the corrupt version of Bruce Wayne, where Joker is the corrupt version of Batman. the chaotic correct version. But I really do like what they've been doing with the Penguin. I thought the writing was handled for the most part very well in this, and I also like the fact that Penguin's found something they can do to hurt Batman. The backup story was very enjoyable, particularly because it is the perception of the criminal in the world of the Batman. Bad, nothing momentous happens in this issue. They kind of start things going and they leave it off on a cliffhanger, but I wasn't feeling it. I like the characters, I like the ideas. The story is just okay. With that said, I will still give this a 4 out of 5. Detective Comics was solid this week. Moving on to our next Batman comic, and that would be Batwing, issue number 13. So, and I believe I said issue number 13 for Detective Comics. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Just wake up. Played a little Resident Evil 6. I'm a little out of it. But Batwing, issue number 13. So we get a new Batwing villainess called Father Loss. And think of him as a pseudo cult leader. He has the ability to manipulate people and basically make them do whatever he wants. And he creates basically this cult. Now, it's never truly revealed on whether or not he has metahuman powers or if he's using some magic or if there's something else at work here, but this individual clearly has power over not only weak-minded people, but strong-minded people. Possibly Batwing. Batwing is facing a new challenge. Will he be able to take something on that isn't necessarily brute power or strength, but rather intellect and charisma? Just gonna have to read and see. On to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. What I like about this in Batwing is we're world building. We're creating new rogues for his rogue gallery. I mean, we had Massacre. We've had, I believe his name was the Warlord, although I forget his name. We had the Kingdom, and now we have Father Loss. Each creating a character that has a different dynamic and brings something different to the table for Batwing. I know Batwing may not be the most popular comic book, but I enjoy it greatly, so I like how we're doing this world building. We get a mass vigilante in here that adds a little spice onto the story. And what I particularly like about this story in the villain in Father Loss, although we don't actually get too much of him, is the fact that he has such a strong control over these characters. At one point, he has all his minions sacrifice themselves just to prove that their lives don't matter in the grand scheme. You can arrest them, you can kill them, but in the end, Father Loss is going to keep on coming, and that's something that is unique and good for Batwing to have in a villain. Something other than just an African warlord, or to have this metahuman um, animal warlord thing. Which I like all the rogues that we've been getting for Batwing thus far. I'd like to see them be rotated. Maybe do 4 or 5 rogues and then rotate them constantly. Bad. Um, the only thing is while I do like the story and the characters, the story has been done multiple times, and I don't feel though enough has been done to it differently to make it stand out in comparison to all the other cult leader stories. Judd, when he tries to put in another mass vigilante to sprinkle stuff on, and it kind of works, but it's just not enough. I'm interested in the story, but not as interested as I like to think I should. And Judd Winnick usually has a way of spicing things up, and he didn't really spice things up with his story as much as I would have. 3.5 out of 5. Still good story. Still enjoyed it. On to GI Combat, issue number 5, featuring the Haunted Tank. Warning: I was half asleep when I read this issue, so my opinions might be skewed a bit. Apparently, GI Combat might be getting canceled. At least that's in the rumor mill. We'll see. We'll see. But again, 2 stories here. We have the Unknown Soldier story doing what the Unknown Soldier does: infiltrate, kill, destroy, move on. Seems to be the kind of the thing that the Unknown Soldier is known for. Nice, isn't it? But the main feature story here is not the war that time forgot, but rather the haunted tank. Now, basically, the haunted tank was actually a relic that was put in the Red Room by Stephen Trevor, and we actually see quite a bit of Stephen Trevor in this. God bless the New 52, making Stephen Trevor a relevant character, not only in Justice League, not only in Justice League Dark, not only in GI Combat, but he's going to be getting his own main title with Justice League of America, making the character relevant. Awesome. And basically, this haunted tank is out on loose, and Stephen Trevor needs to stop him. Will we be able to see Stephen Trevor stop this haunted tank? Or because it's haunted, you can't stop something that's dead? Just gonna have to read and see. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the haunted tank. I think it's an okay, fun story, and I do like how it's incorporated Stephen Trevor in the Red Room, and that it feels like it's part of the DCU. I guess for a miscellaneous story, it was fun, but it was nowhere as good as The War That Time Forgot, because that story was really good. In addition to that, the Unknown Soldiers kind of lost a little momentum for me. I mean, the stories have become forgetful. If I even open this book, I barely remember what happened in the story for the Unknown Soldier. Let me just see. Oh, I kind of do remember. It it just didn't impress me. It didn't really do much for me. Now, granted, I will admit I was falling asleep when I was reading this, so I will give it a extra zero point 0.5 to its score because sleep does really hurt your reading. There is no denying that. So normally I was going to give this a 2.5 out of 5, but I'll give it a 3 just because, like I said, I was falling asleep. An okay issue, but it's not something to write home to, nor is it something that I would recommend going out of your way to pick up. On to Green Arrow issue number 13. You're probably saying, Andrew, wait, you said you were going to drop Green Arrow after issue 0. I was, until I found out Green Arrow crosses over with Hawkman. And because I am a dedicated reader of Hawkman, I'm going to have to read Green Arrow to figure out exactly what's going on. Because Hawkman even shows up in this. Basically, Green Arrow is still in China taking on all these undead grandparents. Yeah, get that. Working with this Chinese superhero who's not really a superhero but a warrior. The story has kind of fallen apart a bit. Uh, I remember what happened in issue 12, but it's not matching up as well with issue 13 as it was. Because in issue 12, Green Arrow was kind of taking care of this bad guy who was trying to steal his money and his technology and all that fun stuff. And then in issue 13, hey, let's go fight Grandparent Ghost. What? The interesting thing about this issue is that despite how off-key it is, the writing was handled pretty decently. Decently is the key word. The art was okay, and the action scenes were okay too. Uh, the thing about Green Arrow that I have to come to realize and accept if I'm going to read this even on a part-time basis, and if anyone is going to read this on a part-time basis, is Green Arrow is not Batman. It is not Superman. He is a B-list superhero at most, B minus maybe. Um, Maybe his stories aren't supposed to be as grandiose as the other ones. Maybe they can be a little bit more key. Maybe that's the thing. You can have a little bit more fun when something's a little bit more key. Who knows? Um, but yeah, Green Arrow, I'll give it 2.5 out of 5. It was actually more enjoyable than the previous issue, which was issue 0, but I meant issue number 12. Um, I guess it's really is more or less this cliffhanger with Hawkman that gives it any interest. But yeah, again, Green Arrow's not doing too well. Not doing too well. Give me Green Arrow. I think I could do Green Arrow. The funny thing is you know who I think would be fun on Green Arrow? Grant Morrison. Uh, I'm not a huge fan of Grant Morrison, but if you're gonna mix things up with good old Greenie, give it to Grant. We've seen Dennis O'Neil, Kevin Smith, Judd Winnick all play their hand at Green Arrow and did a good job. Throw a big name on there. Throw Grant Morrison on there. You don't want to do Jeff Johns. Even though Jeff Johns would be great on Green Arrow, he's doing like everything else. I would like to see Grant Morrison on it. Not going to happen because Grant Morrison is stopping superhero comics for the foreseeable future, but hey, whatever. So from one green hero to the next, Green Lantern issue number 13. So Simon Baz has the Green Lantern ring now, and he's trying to figure out exactly what to do with it because he doesn't really want it. He's finding out all the powers that he possesses, and he's trying to exactly figure out where he belongs in this world now that he has a Green Lantern ring. However, while this is going on, he's receiving messages from Sinestro Jordan. I say Sinestro Jordan because it's like Hal Jordan and Sinestro's head put together. And the Guardians are slowly but surely making their move with their third army. Of course, this comic has to leave off on a cliffhanger, and Baz gets into a certain kind of trouble with a certain kind of someone, or maybe a certain kind of someones. You're just gonna have to read and see. On to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Um, Jeff John does write Simon Baz as kind of a very stereotypical character, but I can't help but like the character. He has kind of a certain je ne sais quoi to him, or a charm to him that I can't quite explain. Maybe it's because he is a Green Lantern different from all the others. He's not embracing the Green Lantern ring, and in addition to that, he doesn't want it at all. Think about it. This is kind of a cliche thing to do with superheroes. The superhero that's reluctant and doesn't want to be the superhero. But if you think about it, each Green Lantern, from Hal to Kyle, all embrace their ring. Hal got his ring, he's like, okay. Phew. Alan Scott got his ring. In either continuity, he's like, sure, I'll kick some ass. John Stewart got his ring. Hey, I'm the new Green Lantern. Guy Gardner got his ring. Hey, this is awesome. Now I can watch porn in green. I mean, Kyle Rayner got his ring. He's like, sure, I'm the torchbearer. Whatever. They've all accepted their duty. Simon Baz, not so much. The cliffhanger was pretty nice, too. Bad, I don't feel as though enough happened in this issue. It kind of, Baz kind of meanders around for a bit, which, I guess is okay because it's set up, but still, it's boring setup. On a whole, I will give this a 4 out of 5. It was a good issue, and it keeps me interested in the Third Army. On to Swamp Thing and Animal Man issue number 13. I'm going to have to review these two buckaroos together. Yes, that is Hawkman, and yes, that is Poison Ivy and Deadman. Basically, and I guess for the foreseeable future, I'm going to have to review these two together because their stories are paralleling each other. Hawkman and not Hawkman, Animal Man and Swamp Thing both went into Rot World, went into the Rot. And apparently, a year passed while in the Rot. Well, that year passed, basically the world got taken over by the Rot, except for one city that is known as City of the Green, and one city known as the City of the Red. Hawkman, I keep saying Hawkman, Animal Man, and so many mans. Animal Man and Swamp Thing have to separately work with other superheroes to get to these specific cities. Animal Man works with, oh god, Black Orchid, Constantine, and John Henry Irons. I believe that is who he works with. Let me double check. And Steel in this, oh no, Beast Boy also, because Beast Boy is connected to Red. Steel in this has no human body. He's now just a robot. And Swamp Thing works with Deadman and Poison Ivy. And they come to realize that a lot of the world's greatest superheroes got taken over, like the Teen Titans, to Supergirl, to Superman, to Cyborg, and everything in between. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good, the atmosphere is great in this. The writing is great in both of these. I really do like the sense of dread that you get from this. And while this is going on, you get to see what's happening in the past, a year beforehand, with their loved ones slowly being taken over. Because Buddy Baker's family, you get to see the downfall of them, and Abigail Arkham, you get to see her downfall. So, good in that sense. Bad, the only two bad I can say is this. One is because it's set a year in the future and everything has gone to hell, you know it's going to get whitewashed somehow. So it kind of takes the impact of the story away. It's a good story. It just we know in the end everything's going to turn out well. Maybe someone dies. Maybe Abigail Arkham dies. Or did I say Arkham? Arcane. Wow. It's the morning. Maybe Abigail Arcane dies, or maybe one of Buddy Baker's kids dies. I don't know. Something momentous could happen, but we know it all gets whitewashed in the end. We know that the world returns to normal, or they go back in time and start the rot before anything happens, stuff along that lines. The second thing is, everyone is bitching out Animal Man and Swamp Thing for being missing for a year. They should be like, hey, we got someone to help us out. But no, they're like, you guys were pussies. You guys hid. To be fair, the other thing is, other than the big names of the DCU like Superman or Batman, I don't think a lot of people would actually know Alec Holland as Swamp Thing or Swamp Thing in general. I can understand Animal Man because he's kind of a celebrity, being an actor and also a superhero, but still, not everyone's going to be like, oh my god, Animal Man and Swamp Thing. They're going to be like, I should know you. Are you the Swamp Thing? Yeah, you are. But on the whole, both of these were good. Both get 4 out of 5s. Moving on to Action Comics issue number 13, and this is basically the Crypto issue or the Phantom Zone issue. Slight spoilers in this, and I might as well throw the spoiler out now. In this issue, we get to see the return of Crypto. Superman gets thrown in the Phantom Zone, and while in the Phantom Zone, he gets helped by a hero in the DC New 52, or the DCU, if you want to call him a hero. And in the Phantom Zone, he basically has to take on the prisoners of the Phantom Zone while also saving Crypto. We also get a backup story dealing with Crypto and exactly what he did while Superman was, got shot into space, landed on Earth, became Superman, so on and so forth. On to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. The backup issue was really good. The backup story was really handled. It was a nice boy and his dog kind of story, and we also get to see it tied into other references in Action Comics. For example, when Superman's sitting on the street bench, the woman comes up and goes, there's a white wolf next to you, a white dog following you, the homeless guy. You get to see that reference in here. So kudos to them for that. Uh, I like to see that Crypto is back in the DCU. I thought the writing was handled for the most part very well, and I did like the Phantom Zone handled in this. I also found it interesting that Grant Morrison had the Phantom Zone portrayed artistically, even though he's not the artist, artistically portrayed the same as it was in All Star Superman. Because he wrote that also. Bad. I can't really say anything bad about this issue. Maybe the fact that the enemy was a little anti, is no one we care about. He's just a nameless enemy. But besides that, this was a pretty decent issue. 4.5 out of 5. I did enjoy this. Action Comics really is a hit and a miss. Moving on to World's Finest, Power Girl and Huntress. Okay, so I was going to drop World's Finest, but I'm choosing to kind of put it on the back burner, kind of pick it up when I get a chance. The reason why is one, World's Finest comes out on week 1, which is actually the easiest week for me to purchase comics because it's the least amount of comics, so might as well pick it up. Second thing is Damian's going to be in issue number 6 or 7, so I want to see Huntress go against Robin. It would be fun. But this issue is basically what you would think. Huntress and Power Girl are talking about, the how their powers are affected on this world. Why is someone affected by radiation, but the other one isn't, and how they're gonna try to get home, and enemies from another dimension, stuff like that. And we get to see flashbacks of them kind of being on Earth One or the Earth Prime. I don't know if we call it Earth Prime or Earth One or New Earth or not, but we get to see them kind of having their little adventures there. Good, bad, whether or not you get it. Good. The art is good. The characters, the dialogue is nice between them. I really do like Power Girl and Huntress working together. Bad is this comic is going nowhere. This comic would be so much better if there was just a plot. It's not even as bad writing or bad pacing or bad art or bad characterization. It's just there is no story. They've been sitting around and talking to each other forever. It's issue number 5, and we didn't even get to the end of the first story arc. Like the real first story arc. Maybe if you could say fighting giant radioactive man is the end of the first story arc. I don't. You know what I would consider the end of the first story arc? They get a lead on how to get back to Earth 2. Please, get this comic going. What I think should happen with World's Finest is they should go back to Earth 2. And this be an Earth 2 comic, So you have Earth 2 dealing with the Justice Society, and World's Finest dealing with Power Girl and Huntress, basically becoming the new Superman and Batman of this respective world, still being called Power Girl and Huntress. I mean, Power Girl became Superman, I would be a little concerned there'd be some genitalia switch up. But you get my point. This comic is just, I mean, I want to give it something higher than 2.5, but I can't because nothing happens. So 2.5 out of 5. It was okay, but bloody hell. If anything, if you haven't read Power Girl and Huntress yet, I would not jump onto it until maybe when Damien jumps on, because maybe that would mix things up. Finally, wrapping things up, and I'm sorry we're going into the 25-minute mark, or 25 minutes and 29 seconds. Um, Earth 2. So it is Green Lantern versus Grundy, and the Justice Society is really coming together now. Um, because I know it's going to be called the Justice Society. Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Flash, and Atom Smasher, or the Atom, as he's being called, all take on Grundy, while Terry Salone is called into the World Army to take over. And basically, they want to nuke Washington, D.C. I don't think they should. I think that might be a bad idea. The biggest problem is that Green Lantern goes into the Gray to take on the Gray itself. However, the Gray has an offer for Green Lantern that might be hard for him to refuse. On to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Oh God, James Robinson, I love you to death. This story is just, issue 0 should not have happened because it did nothing for this and it broke up the story. The pace on this is great. Everything is momentous. This feels like the Justice League story for the first 5 issues of Justice League, where it feels like a big blockbuster action film. It feels like something momentous and big is coming together. And even like the small references of everyone saying, the wonders have returned, the wonders of the world, saying that superheroes have returned, is kind of like saying, shit, stuff is happening. The fight is really fun in this. I like to see the dynamic with each character working together. Their personalities are so different, but they work well in contrasting each other. And Grundy just comes off as such a diabolically good villain. Bad, none. 5 out of 5. Earth 2 was fantastic. Pick it up if you haven't picked it up. What's wrong with you? Earth 2 has just been. I mean, other than the issue 0 hiccup, Earth 2 has been nothing but great. And you get to see how issue 0 is impacting issue number 5. I still didn't care for issue 0. So, anyways, with that said, I'm going to end my video here. This is Andrew saying, peace out for now.